Shalom and good day all, this is Tehillim29, back again for another Fool's Gold review. And this time, for Fool's Gold, we are going to be reviewing and adding up, is this really worth picking up, Brian Michael Bendis, Young Justice, issue 20. Thank goodness Brian Michael Bendis is leaving this. Now, to those who are new to Fool's Gold, just to show you how this works, I rate the cover, the art, and the story, but let's also include something else. A total for the artist and a total for the writer. Now, the total is in connection to how much I think the story is worth and how much I think the art is worth. Let's get to it. Now, seeing I paid $3.99 for this, it's about $7.15 because I've got a standing order at my LCS. And it will be from that the story will get the total amount of how much I think it's worth. Now, to rate the cover, does this cover show a connection to what happens within the story? Not really. I'm afraid to say. So a little bit of false advertisement here. Do we get to see all the characters that are actually in this? Not really at all. So the rating for the cover, so just for normal rating, a 5 out of 10. How much do I think the cover is worth? About $1.50 out of 10. Let's move to the internal art. Now, this is some art towards the beginning. I will now move to the middle. This is some of the art around the middle. Some nice consistency being used. And finally up towards the end. I must admit, there was fantastic consistency here in regards to the art. I really enjoyed this in the story. A 6 out of 10 overall. How much do I think the art is worth? $1.60. So, let's move to the fun part. The story by Brian Michael Bendis and David Walker. Now, starting off with the things that I like to enjoy in a story. Does it show cast of characters? Yes, it does. Does it show location? Yes, it does. Does it show time as when things take place? Yes, it does. What about comic references? Well, we only get one comic reference, but in technicality, this needed more than one. And it loses points for that. Seeing that this one likes to focus a lot on Teen Lantern. And in this case, I sort of sided with John Stewart's side of things in regards to her to hand over the item. And it was really not the best story, not the strongest story in any way, shape or form. And it wouldn't have hurt to have the comic reference to the appearance to where we see Kelly from Bolivia, like showing to where she actually got it from. That wasn't in this story, and yet it's an important part for this story. Brainy Brittany ain't so brainy. Brainy Brittany needs to get back to basics. So, for it having all four of those things, that is actually a good thing. which is really nice, but what about the actual story? What is the story rating? Do I call it a strong story? Not really. And this is why you can't bank on Bendis at DC Comics. You're better off picking up his Jinx World. So, story rating for it? 2.5 out of 10. Only that it remembered to bring in those important elements that I like to enjoy in a story. How much do I think the story's worth? 70 cents. Not very high at all. I'll leave you to do the total at home. But until then, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Until then, let's keep it colourful. Well, as we start to approach the end of the video, I'm setting up a bit of a goal to reach 150 subs, preferably before the end of the year. If you can make that happen, I'd really like to reward the subscribers with my first review of Akira Amano's Reborn, the first 4 volumes. Until then, you are awesome.